I was told that you were sick and tired of being the butt of all the princesses' jokes and japes.
He asks who said these things.
My companion, Adrex.
I mean,
by the way, he's really worried you're going to slay him. You're not going to slay him, right?
He asks if Adrex is the false dragon that you brought with him.
Yeah, that would be him.
And he says that he has no need to worry.
Fantastic. So, one of the things that we heard that the princess wants is held in the court of her sister. And we need to get across this ice bridge in order to do so. And I was hoping, as someone who has slain dragons, you had some means of overcoming cold that you could impart onto me. In exchange, hopefully we can make the princess so interested in this new toy that she forgets about you.
He asks, what is this toy?
And, screw it. And I ask if he minds me going inside to tell him this a little more private.
He nods once, opens the door a little wider, and like I said, it's a very small for his size. You know, I mean, it's not like he's not hunched down into the little shoebox. It's a large one-room place, but he would consider it small, considering how big he is. Upon letting you in, the first thing he does is cross the room where you see his meticulously cared for greatsword on the wall. He takes it down, turns back to you. He takes a seat in one of his great oak chairs, lays the sword across his lap. So he's going to let you say your piece, but he does not look too happy about it.
All right. And I'll sit down across from him with a little bit more respect now. I like the way he takes care of his weaponry.
Okay.
And I'll give him the info. So we're hoping to get this scepter back.
He asks why it would behoove him to deliver this scepter to... Basically, he asks why his station is at all improved under Queen Dandelion than Princess Dandelion.
I tell him that, personally, I don't care who's in charge, and the only reason that I agreed to do this was because I was told that if we can accomplish this, as well as kind of turn the tables on Dandelion's sister, that would bring the realm back in such a state that the attentions of both of them were off of the little people.
And he asks if you consider him one of these little people.
I think Princess and Queen Dandelion would consider everyone who isn't them one of the little people.
So you want from him some way to safeguard from the cold. So when you go on this fool's errand into the Snowbell Queen's realm, he asks, what sort of device or mechanism or fey magic do you think can ward off the supernatural cold of the Snowbell Queen?
Well, personally, I'd rather it not be fey magic. I've found it unreliable in the past. But I'm not sure. All of this magic thing is a bit new to me.
He tells you that a part of him envies your ignorance.
And I tell him that if he has information, I would really welcome he share it. Because, personally, Wendy finds it terrifying that all this stuff keeps going on and she doesn't understand it at all.
He says he has no interest in Princess Dandelion, other than the fact that he's sworn to protect her realm from dragons. And he certainly has no interest in the Snowbell Queen. Whoever is in control of this scepter is of absolutely no interest to him. What interests him is Tazari, the frost dragon that the Snowbell Queen keeps captive.
Right.
He says
we supposedly had a run-in with her.
He asks for details if you tell him you've met this dragon.
Yeah, and I start going into the details about the weird time shit. And this, like, in Wendy's voice, is like, see, this is the kind of shit that I don't understand that I'm talking about.
He tells you that he's forbidden by the princess to cross over into the realm of the Snowbell Queen. Otherwise, he would pay a visit on this frost dragon and slay it, being the dragon slayer and all.
Of course, that's only natural.
He tells you that he will only give you assistance if you take on the task of slaying this dragon in his stead. He wants to see it dead.
Alright. That sounds fair, although some sort of cold resistance would help with that task.
He tells you that if we had time, he would aid you in training your body to resist cold by making you march naked into the highest hills during the bitterest storms. He says this with some like wistfulness, like nostalgia.
That sounds a lot like the training that I went through back on the mountain, so I'd appreciate that. Maybe I'll come back after we take out the dragon.
He tells you that there's little he can do as far as offering magical types of resistance. He's not much of a magician himself. In fact, he mistrusts magic for much the same reasons you do. However, as far as Tazari goes, he says he can entrust you with an item that can help you slay this guardian.
Okay.
And he gives
And
you...
in exchange... Oh, go ahead.
In exchange what?
In exchange, he wants us to seek it out.
Well, this dragon is one of the Snowbell Queen's guardians. So yeah, last you heard, it was in her cellars, guarding the scepter.
Yeah. Okay, great. Fantastic.
He gifts you with what looks to your eyes to be a ceremonial dagger. It's not the kind of dagger you would use in combat. Like, this isn't the kind that Red carries. It's got jagged edges to it. You're pretty sure it would be very easy to break in actual combat because you catch it with a sword and it would split in two. But he tells you that this dagger will deal severe damage to Dragonkin. Perhaps it's best that, false though he may be, you not allow your white dragon companion to wield it.
I tell him, if he's giving it to me, then I'll use it myself.
He tells you a couple stories about how, when he was still in training, this dagger was passed down throughout the bloodlines of dragon hunters, etc., etc., etc. And he used it in his first couple of slayings until he had enough skill at the task that he no longer needed it when he graduated up to swords and axes and such. He tells you go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I'm gonna bring up the fact that I'm essentially trying to get a gauge on like how much he likes to just go seek out dragons, and it seems like that's his big thing. And I ask him, go ahead.
Yeah, make an insight check.
Yeah. That's a 20.
His demeanor doesn't betray anything. Like, you'd be really surprised to learn that this guy actually really enjoys anything. But he speaks of dragon slaying with great reverence and respect. It's a profession that he holds in high regard. You can tell he definitely feels honored to hold the position. Maybe he's a little bit annoyed that it has to be for the likes of Princess Dandelion, but...
Mm-hmm. I tell him that if he can find any other way to help us coming back to our land once we've managed to accomplish our task, and if he can help me out in helping convince Princess Dandelion that she wouldn't want any of her sister's Moakton companions, guards, that I think that I have a opportunity for him that he would enjoy. And I'm going to tell him that if we can get those Moakton back, we would have a group of a fighting force that we need help to fight off against this evil dragon back on the prime material.
What details do you tell him about that dragon?
I'm basically just going to tell him everything I know, because I figure he's the expert.
And make another insight check.
All right. That's a 14.
The prospect of leaving the Feywild to slay a dragon on the other side, to stand in defense of people rather than just at the princess's whims, you can see is very attractive to him. However, when you mention Huyan to him, that she's the daughter of this dragon, you're pretty sure if you bring him back to the Prime, he'll help you kill this ancient dragon, but he's not going to consider the job done until Huyan herself is also slain.
Well, we'll see how that goes. To be real with you, not feeling too hot on Huyan at the moment.
But basically where he leaves it, if you bring this dagger back with the blood of that frost dragon on it, he will consider himself to be in your debt. Because you will have closed a book that he's been looking to close for many, many years.
Alright, great.
And this dagger is not going to require attunement, but you don't know exactly what it does either.
Okay. I'm going to ask him if he has any idea who I could talk to that would be able to provide some cold resistance.
He directs you to some restaurants in the area that make very filling and very hearty stews.
Alright, so here's the thing, Brick Road, is if you tell me that and I'm not dealing with this Fey bullshit at the moment, I'm going to go buy that stew and I'm going to bring it with me. Okay. So I'm going to assume this is some fairy stew.
So you go to procure this hearty stew. What do you do to try to keep it hot after you leave the restaurant?
If I have to keep this cold resist stew hot, it's not what I'm looking for.
No, in other words, Branchlord doesn't know anything about where you can find cold resistance. When you ask him about how can I stave off the colds, he's going to point you to places that he knows can warm you up.
Yeah.
So he tells you that you can go find stew, and Wendy spends the rest of the afternoon sampling the stews of the Feywilds.
I mean, that sounds in character. Do I have to attune to this dagger?
No, does not require attunement.
Alright.
Apply a -1 to hit and damage with that dagger. It's a ceremonial knife. It's not meant to be used in combat.
Yep.
That brings us to Raazu.
Raazu.
And you gave me a 6 on seeking out Belataka.
Yes, I did.
You're about to embark. Starting out like your companions did at the marketplace. Spread a little bit of silver around, see if anybody can find this person. But you actually don't have to. She's in the marketplace, and she shouts your name. You hear her from across the place. And she's decked out in her combat gear. She's wearing a long sword on her hip and a quiver on her back.
Approach her.
She tells you that the princess has put a bounty on you and your companions. And she asks how you feel about losing a duel today and helping her collect that bounty.
Raazu smiles, says, Don't intend to lose.
And at the sight of this spectacle, I mean, the other peoples in the marketplace, they're starting to make a ring around you. She draws her sword and takes a fighting stance against you.
Ready my halberd.
She is approaching this in kind of a playful manner, almost. You can see that she's relishing this whole situation. She tells you this will be her first duel against someone from the other side. And she asks if, in that brutish and colorless world, if the laws of chivalry are respected.
Absolutely.
And she asks what you should fight to. Will this be a... mechanically, in other words, when do we know the duel is over? Are you fighting to first blood?
First blood.
So whoever lands the first hit that deals damage?
Yep.
Sorry, my monster manual was not nearby. Alright.
Why would you need that?
I'm feeling a little nostalgic right now.
Yeah?
I remember a one-on-one duel with McDohl's character once.
Yep.
Where I used the gladiator stat block.
Yep. It's true.
And that ended well, as I recall.
Oh, it ended great. It's good times.
I wonder if we should just use that gladiator stat block one more time.
Give me a crack at revenge here.
So she tells you that if you lose this duel, you are honored bound to be taken back to the princess in her custody so she can claim the bounty. And she asks what you will require of her if you are to win.
Something to protect me from the bitter cold.
She seems kind of confused at the request, but she doesn't challenge it. She nods. She says, "So it shall be."
Yep.
So she's armed with a long sword in one arm. You see she takes her quiver and her bow, and she hands it aside to one of her companions that's traveling to the marketplace with her.
Raazu puts the holder of javelins down on the ground next to her.
What kind of armor is Raazu wearing?
Chainmail.
Chainmail.
It's looks very piecemeal, like she's found different pieces and it's kind of very haphazard put together.
We're going to go to the first strike, since we said first blood. We're going to go to the first strike that deals more than 10 damage.
Sure.
We'll say draws blood. How about we roll some initiative?
Absolutely. I'm on 11.
People are placing bets. A big spectacle is... Oh, you got her by one. There's a big spectacle emerging. My dog wants to go outside. He doesn't know that he doesn't want to go outside because it's raining like a motherfucker out there. So what I have to do is leave the room, go out to the back door, show him it's raining, and then he'll leave me alone. So I'll be back in just 1 minute.
That'll only work for like half an hour, and then he'll forget.
Yeah, that's true.
So while Brick Road's gone, I think Birdie's gonna leave a trap in the guy's like hallway. Like just like the trap I have, because he called me because he thought I was amusing, and that hurt Birdie's feelings.
Yeah, Adrex signed who knows what, betrayed all of his ideals for a hat, so he's kind of cool with that.
Okay.
How many ideals did you betray?
I open the back door, and he's like, "I'm not going out there. It's raining outside. What are you, crazy?" Friggin' dog. Raazu, you have the initiative, so go ahead and see if you can take a pound of flesh off of Bellataka.
Sure. Close. And I'm going to use a Channel Divinity feature.
Whoa.
Yep.
Fucking instantly kill her.
No, not quite, but hang on one second. Let me make sure I got this real quick. The guided strike channel divinity ability.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll this d20 right here.
It's a good d20.
Yep.
It's very purple.
Yep, it is very purple. Let's see, that's gonna be a 16 to hit, but I'm gonna go ahead and use that channel divinity feature. I have to choose to do this before you tell me whether or not it hits.
Okay.
And the feature gives me plus 10 to the roll. So
Right.
that puts it to a 26.
And just for everybody's clarification, any rules like that specify I gotta declare this after the roll, but before it, I don't want to track any of that. I'm perfectly fine with using any of those kind of features after you see the roll. So
gotcha.
I've always run it like that. My Saturday DM insists on going by the book on those, and he drives himself crazy trying to track which ones can see the roll, which ones can't see the roll. So yeah, feel free to use guided strike when you miss and you want to hit. I don't mind. But yes, that does hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some paladin stank on that as well.
Okay.
Killing her instantly.
Not quite. That's only that is 8 slashing damage and 7 radiant damage.
And it's over almost as quickly as it started. You guys dance around each other, and you riposte one or two of her attacks, and you can see she wants to make a dance out of this. She wants to drag this out and have fun with it, and you're just not in the mood. And you just step forward, and you just put a gash across her armor, and you see the blood welling up along one side. She winces and clutches it with her hand. And there's cheering and boos all around you.
Raazu ceremonially puts the blade of her halberd to her neck.
And for a second, you can see that she's disappointed in how swiftly she lost this fight, which she thought she was going to drag out for a little bit. But then a smile creeps across her face, and she tells you that she yields.
Raazu pulls her halberd back, goes to pick up her javelins. So you'll hold up your end of the agreement?
And she tells you that she will. And what is it exactly that will help you survive the cold?
Something that will let me resist the bitter cold.
She asks how long of a journey you're going on.
Did we get an estimate of how long it would take us to get to the
The gorge itself is several miles long. And the way that Josiah described this fortress is there's a large structure spanning the gorge, and in the center of it is this fortress. So travel across most of the bridge is going to be pretty easy. It's just the fortress itself that you're worried about.
And she was asking for a time frame, right?
Yeah, so if you're asking for how long it's going to take you to cross the gorge, not longer than it should take you to cross several miles of terrain and solve a dungeon.
Possibly 3 to 4 days. Just giving himself plenty of wiggle room.
She tells you that that's a fairly... She actually asks you to follow her.
Okay.
And she takes you to this little hole-in-the-wall restaurant that just reeks of badly prepared fish.
Raazu does offer to mend her wounds, though, with her field medicine.
She declines, saying she wouldn't want to owe you a second favor.
Ah.
But yeah, she wants to get out of the din of the crowd. So she takes you aside to this fishy-smelling, dingy little restaurant, this little just ale house in the side of the marketplace. She tells you that she'll keep up her side of the bargain, but the thing you're asking is larger than she was anticipating at first. She says it might help her to know why you need this protection.
I need to go to the fortress in the middle of the ice bridge leading to the Snow Queen's fortress along that way.
She asks why you would be traveling to the realm of the Snowbell Queen.
Can this be kept in confidence?
Sorry, I'm distracted. I just got a tornado warning on my phone. So if my house gets carried away, then...
D&D's over.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you've got a spare Toto.
That's true. I should put him in a little picnic basket and set him out on the porch. See if I rid myself of the dog. I'm sorry, what was your last question?
What is can this be kept in confidence?
She says that nothing that is said inside of the hedge can be kept in confidence.
Okay. Well, Raazu will come out and say it. That we're being tasked to retrieve something from the fortress along the bridge.
Now, is that you misunderstanding this quest, or are you lying to her?
I probably am actually misunderstanding. I'm sorry.
Now, the fortress just gets you to the other side of the ravine. That's where you have to travel through to get there. You can't go over it because she stationed frost giants on it. The scepter you're looking for is inside of the Queen's palace on the other side of the bridge.
Okay, yeah, I will. I will. That we've been tasked to retrieve something from the Snowbell Queen's fortress.
She asks if this something would be about yay long and particularly scepter-like.
Raazu nods.
She tells you to give her 3 days.
Take your time.
And so, the four of you, reconverge back at Lydia's little apartment.
So before that,
Yeah.
Adrex and I had a discussion,
Uh-oh.
and I left my the trap that I crafted. I left it in the in the businessman's house, hidden in his hall, as best I could.
And Adrex let him get away with it because Adrex violated everything he believes for a hat. So
Birdie comes
Adrex
back
is like, sure.
wearing this jaunty hat. Wendy comes back with 2 heavy casks of what she says is delicious stew. And Raazu comes back empty-handed.
With a wink and a promise.
Must be the Feywild.
So I didn't find any cold resistance, but I've heard that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I did get this very nice dagger.
What's it do?
Kills dragons. Hold up. But I'm holding it, right? So don't worry about accidentally tripping and stabbing yourself with the dragon-killing dagger.
Didn't you threaten to like murder him? Like
I've promised not to murder him. Not everything's a threat.
I don't know. I heard a veiled threat. It's like
So you went to go talk to the Dragon Slayer, and you came back with a literal dragon.
I'm just saying we probably should have seen this coming.
Yeah.
This is on all of us.
Adrex is just staring at the knife.
I'm gonna put the knife away. I don't like the way Adrex is staring at the knife.
Well, I suppose that's better than what I got a hat. Birdie points at his hat. It's like, look at it.
It looks very warm.
Yeah, and I only had to sign my life away and violate everything that I believe in, so... Shrug!
But it's Birdie's hat. Why didn't Birdie sign his life away?
Because he thought I was adorable, and that's why I left a trap in his hall.
Okay, well... So
That's
I
on
can't go
him.
back there.
And you
Well,
all
that's on
are
him.
suddenly remember what Josiah said about not further antagonizing the Fey creatures.
He started it.
Listen, I didn't antagonize no one. I had a very nice conversation.
And you came back with a dragon slayer. When
Yeah.
there's a dragon in your party.
Okay, first of all, I would have to get like a quarter dragon slaying dagger to take you out, Adrex. I'm sorry, but that's true.
Mm.
And second, we are going to have to fight a dragon. Unless you're gonna slay him solo.
Maybe he can seduce the dragon.
Dragons
That's
are
true, I-
ridiculous.
In 3 days'
Are
time.
you a dragon expert?
Hey, oh, I'm sorry. I was wondering if I could use the downtime for the 3 days because I mentioned that in the party chat over the week, and but I wanted to try a theory on spellcrafting.
You want to
Rune.
take another stab at your
Yeah.
spellcraft?
Yep.
All right. Let me.
Also, Adrix, I will point out that when we killed all those birds, I didn't have anything to say. Every single one of these arrows is a bird slaying arrow.
Where is the big?
I could just draw it on the table here.
Does he have to draw it again?
He does. I mean,
Okay.
he
I
doesn't
don't
have to make the check.
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't have to make the check. Has to make the draw. All right.
I don't know where I've got that board. I thought it was just here in tools.
I'll be right back again.
Maybe this will work. Let's move off to the side. Can you draw on this?
The slate.
Yep, there it is. Okay,
that's
that's not mine.
That's not the rune though. That's somebody's
No.
nose.
That's me making sure I could draw on it.
I can't see shit,
wait,
so I'm
before
gonna
you
take your
draw-
word for it.
Okay.
What spell are you attempting to craft?
Dominate person.
Dominate person. You think you're worthy of a spell of that caliber?
I'm trying things here.
All right, go ahead.
Throwing spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks.
Don't throw spaghetti. Just draw the correct rune.
Birdie, can you reverse engineer that hat and get me one of them bad boys?
Okay.
Back.
Do this.
Welcome back.
Longer like
Thank you.
that.
Welcome back.
Something like that. Like you said last time I tried this, some liberties would have to be taken here.
Oh no, you got to draw it exactly. I mean, I want it pixel perfect. Also,
Okay.
I feel like Nodal is the kind of person who would carry around like just an entire directory of TV show theme songs on his iPad.
That's ridiculous. I would sing them.
Does Wendy take requests?
Is that supposed to be Jeopardy?
Yeah.
All right, I got it.
See, that's how good I'm getting. You got it.
we identified one.
By identifying it, you have learned the ability to once per day cast Jeopardy as a bonus action.
There it is.
And you think this is the rune for dominate person?
Yes.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how sure are you? Like if you had to
I'm
bet
probably
money.
about a 5.
Raazu, go ahead and add dominate person to your spell list.
Boom.
Can you Control C, Control V that for me? Because I can't see shit.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
Oh, really? Hmm.
Yeah, so you're gonna need to print screen that bad boy for us. Nice work, though.
What he
you.
did is he drew the rune. That we.
Yeah, thanks.
But no, I'm just like he drew the bottom part, but he put the top part from our cantrip.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about it, and we were kind of like, he said, "What if that like denotes the source of the magic?" So the idea was we got our cantrips from we all got our cantrips from the same source. So they all have the same top part. So maybe that but at the same time, like the hangman's this different. This is different.
So you're thinking we now know also how to make magic items.
I don't know about that.
Because
I
we have
just really
found
wanna have
what is essentially a stone scroll that had a different top.
Okay. So I've got a snip. I'm gonna put that on the thing here.
So this is the only spell that Raazu can get until level 6, when you have to be able to make another spell. Remember that your spellcasting modifier is
Intelligence.
and Dominate Person is a level 5 spell.
Yes, it's gonna eat 5 blips if I try to cast it.
Costs 5 blips to cast it. Do you even have 5 blips at the moment?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think Brick designed this so that none of us could ever learn how to cast Foresight.
You guys done with this board?
Okay. Oh man, I probably did this incorrectly, but oh yeah, no, the picture is a mess. Can someone fix that for me somehow? Like it's on the spellcraft sheet, but it's like
I don't know what you're referring to. Oh, on the spellcraft sheet? Yeah, I can fix that for you.
Is anybody else
thank you,
doing
Nodal.
anything during that time, waiting for Bellataka to return?
Maybe we should go talk to someone else. Did you get the impression from talking to Bellataka that this would be like a 2-man source of cold resistance? Because otherwise we're still down 1.
I didn't get that impression from her, but she just said she'd come seek us out in 3 days.
Then maybe we should go talk to someone else on our list.
Who else is on your list?
I don't think we have anyone else, do we? I think we already.
Who is
hit-
Lurvana?
Adrex is
right.
an expert on Nirvana.
That's right. Adrex.
Adrex. You're the elf expert.
Yeah,
Right.
so you need to. I think you need to flex some of that elf expertise.
Now, I know it was many sessions ago, or many weeks rather. Before you guys set out against Lurvana, remember that she was a member of the Winter Court.
But she's not anymore.
She had traveled from the Snowbell Queen's realm.
Is she still a member? What's our understanding of that, Adrix?
Mm.
Did you
I
get
wasn't
like a frosty sense from her?
If Adrix says
And-
anything other than it's a great idea to seek her out and we should do so immediately,
It's a great idea, and we should seek her out immediately. Bam.
Alright, well now that Adrix is into it, I'm not liking this idea anymore.
Also, you're asking Adrix if he got a frosty sense from the elf, which
Yeah.
I love. I love on multiple levels.
Was she like a chili elf?
She was when I was done with her. Oh! 5! Go high!
this conversation's going places.
No? Alright.
So,
I'll have
Bellataka
that.
hunts you guys down after 3 days. And Raazu,
Hey,
she hands you 4 spell scrolls. This is what she was able to procure through her contacts. She tells you that these scrolls will cast a spell that confers cold resistance for a period of time. She has seen it last as little as 1 hour and as long as 5. Each one of these
Okay.
scrolls is good for one person.
how many scrolls are there?
4.
4 of them? Okay, cool.
She also
Very nice
says
symbols on them.
you can make an identify check during downtime to try to find them, to try to determine
Absolutely
symbols.
will.
I mean,
She then hands you a small jar. A little smaller than like a standard mason jar. And inside of it is a trapped fairy that looks absolutely despondent. Just overcome with grief on being
Like the-
trapped in this little jar.
Like the fairies in Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Those were like happy fairies, though, weren't they?
No, they're really sad when you put them in the bottle.
Are
Yeah,
they?
they do not like being in that battle.
That doesn't
Yeah,
sound right, because that means there's something good in Wind Waker, and I don't remember that at all. The part of you that wants to save Moakden children and kill hags to free Firbolg slaves aches to see this fairy kept prisoner in this jar. Bellataka tells you this is a gift from a mutual friend. A mutual friend that is an opponent of the Snowbell Queen. But under no circumstances should you open this jar until you are on the other side of the bridge.
Okay.
When you are in the Snowbell Queen's realm, opening it before then, and she refers to it as it. She at no point gives any indication that she sees this trapped fairy as an individual with any kind of agency. This is just a piece of equipment to her. So yeah, one of Link's fairies. I always assumed it was like a Pokemon, like they were happy to be in those jars.
No, they
No.
super don't like it. Also, I will point out that they're not even a piece of equipment; they're a piece of filler, because the bottle is the equipment.
That's
Yeah.
true. They're like second tier equipment.
Yeah.
Any other preparations before you guys set out for the bridge?
I'm gonna spend the time to attune the hat.
Okay.
It takes an hour, right? It tunes on a short rest.
Yeah.
You attune the hat?
Yeah.
I know,
Does,
what are
does the
we,
hat resize? You said it was really large for me. Is it one of the does it resize to fit my
No,
tiny
of course
head?
not. No, you just look extremely comical, and you have to keep pulling it up out of your eyes.
Can I look at these scrolls without actually burning one?
Yeah, you can attempt to identify them as per
Yeah.
the scroll identify rules.
Yeah, I'll give that a shot. I mean, if it's not going to harm anything, I'm not going to... Wendy's not the sort of person to just sit here on her thumbs.
Okay, roll a d4.
Alright?
Actually, I'll roll a d4.
I already rolled it.
Yeah, I'm gonna ignore your roll, though.
Oh, my roll's so good.
Make an intelligence arcana check. Oh, actually, yeah, intelligence arcana. That's right.
7.
7?
Yeah.
No, you're not able to discern the use of the scroll. But yeah, you're told it confers cold resistance, and they've seen it last anywhere between 1 and 5 hours. And by cold
So-
resistance, I mean it will shield them from the extreme cold of the place, which you guys are all already procured winter equipment, so that's not going to be a big deal. But it's also going to confer half damage from cold sources.
So, these are for once we're fighting, like, say, a dragon.
Perhaps.
And yeah, I'm going to ask Raazu if I can hold one of those for before we fight the dragon. And I promise not to use it until then.
No, absolutely.
Birdie asked for one as well, but like he wants it because for later to look at.
You can look at it right now. I'm holding it right here. I have no problem with you sitting down with me looking this scroll.
What are we going to do about light sources? Usually we just light a torch,
We have a
but
we have
Continue
have
to
a-
light torches.
in the freezing cold.
We have...
All right.
I have at least this torch that provides 10 feet of dim light.
And then also, stuff still catches fire even in the cold. It's just harder.
I like the idea that Adrex isn't sure that that's true.
He's like, I've been places where it's been really, really cold. I know the book about the elemental planes for 2nd edition in Planescape talks about the plane of ice and what happens in the coldest places of the plane of ice when you try to strike a fire. Like, it's like there's a 50% chance it turns into like blue flame that gives off cold instead of heat, and a 50% chance it turns into just a literal frozen flame.
That's cool.
Planescape's fucking weird, man.
Well, as long as you're not going to spring that on us.
I might. I mean,
Hence why I'm asking the question.
I haven't got to run. I haven't got to run Planescape in about 6 months now, so I might be itching for it. Any other preparations before you guys set out to meet Josiah and arrive at the bridge?
Thinking, can we get healing potions? We should get healing potions.
I've so how many days have we been sitting here? I can at least roll for those.
You're supposed to meet Josiah in about a week. You told him.
All right,
Yeah.
so I'll roll us up some healing potions if you guys want to front me the cash.
How much cash do you need?
It's 25 gold a potion.
Ooh. Ooh.
I don't have that much.
25 gold a potion.
I'm reading the rules right, Brickard. Like, the fact that I roll high doesn't negate the need to pay for it.
Correct. When you're talking about a magic item like a potion of healing.
Yeah. So that's... I guarantee you you're not going to buy them for any cheaper than that. Because this is friend prices here.
Or in the Feywild, you might be able to buy them for a drop of blood or a silly dance or...
Oh, Adrex can totally do silly dances for potions of healing. That I even said. I think we've got enough gold for...
I like the idea that the day before we set out, like, we're all just, like, kind of browsing the marketplace, and there's just 3 rings of warmth. It's like, fuck.
They're on sale.
Yeah.
They each cost 10 copper, and you're like, fuck!
God damn it.
10 saliva-ridden copper. Alright. It's 10 silver for a gold piece, right?
Yes.
So 80 additional silver should make that 25 gold.
Could I potentially barter like some of the bric-a-brac I have on my character for additional, like, because I have a pot, like an iron pot, I have pitons.
Yeah, you can sell that kind of stuff for the prices for the price of the PHB straight across, I'd say.
Okay, all right, never mind. Because the reason I was just like because berries are weird and they like random crap, so that's what I was getting at.
So mark off whatever you want to sell and take the silver from it.
Nah, that's okay. I'll just keep everything.
Okay, so how many potions is Windy able to make?
Yeah, 25 gold. So
So one?
All right, so I can make you one the second day.
Okay.
And I'll hand that over because I've already got some potions.
So you hand a potion over to Adrex. Birdie has the hat. Windy has the dagger. What do you do with the casks of stew? Are you taking those?
I mean, we've been eating them.
Okay, so those are gone now.
Those are gone by now.
And did everybody take a scroll?
Adrex didn't.
Adrex. So who has 2 scrolls?
Raazu does.
Okay, and then Raazu also is carrying the fairy.
Yep.
Okay. You just throw this fairy into your dark pack and zip it up.
Hey, Brick, is there a letter that we should be assigning to these scrolls?
No.
Okay.
You can just say scroll of cold resistance ? That'd be fine. Josiah takes you to the edge of the hedge, towards back in the area where Windy was at previously, where it gets noticeably colder. When you guys set out in your warm winter gear, it feels way too hot. But eventually, when you get to the edge, you realize that he wasn't lying about how harsh it could get. He takes you through an archway in the hedge, and you immediately leave the hedge behind. Looking behind you, you just see an expanse of dark, snowy woods, similar to the ones you guys marched through after burning down your cottage. And in front of you is this incredibly wide gorge with terrible, bitter winds, a huge storm ferociously swirling on either side of it. Bridging the gorge is a huge structure of solid ice, and it looks like there's 2 ways to cross it. The first way, you could climb up over the top of it, and you've been informed that frost giants are guarding that route. The other path is a tunnel leading through the center of it. Josiah tells you to carefully make your way through the fort, and when you get on the other side, your best course of action, unless other means present themselves, he leaves it to your judgment. But he says sorry, my mouth escaped me there for a second. If you present yourself at the palace of the Snowbell Queen, and you don't give any indication that you know that you've done this before, she might invite you in with the hopes of tricking you again. that would be a very good scenario for you, because you would be inside the walls and you would be able to make contact with who he calls is his sister. Not actually his biological sister, but her name is Nessie. And then from there, you'll be able to put together your plans to get the scepter and get out. He asks how much silver you still have.
I'm holding 85 on myself. I don't know about everyone.
430.
So like
Raazu-
500.
He tells you that's a considerable amount.
Raazu
And
also has like 90 something left.
you guys are carrying way more money than I thought you had. My goodness. I'm just going to go ahead and increase all the prices in my notes by 10%.
I didn't have any of this shit recorded.
He tells you that you should keep in mind that no creature is so loyal to either of the princesses that they cannot be bought. To consider your money as a distinct advantage, for you're considering, or you're carrying a considerable amount. And then with
That's
that,
good.
you stand at the entrance of the tunnel. And you take it forward. It feels like over a mile. And it's an extremely bizarre journey, because the tunnel looks like it's made out of densely packed snow. It's very slippery if you don't have some way to grip the ground. Windy, you're not going to be able to wear your shoes.
Yeah, I
in this
know. Listen, I'm keeping them safe. I don't want to get blood on them anyway.
Twilight streams through the icy walls of the structure. In some places, the ice is cracked and mottled. In others, it has a mirror sheen. It's like semi-translucent. And as you get to the center of the structure, you see it fans out in all directions. It gets much, much larger. You can't tell, looking through some of these semi-translucent walls, whether the shapes you're seeing are other creatures moving in the distance or just strange twists of the light.
That's good. That means they can't tell either.
Then you reach a point where about 100 feet ahead of you or so, I'm going to have to shrink you guys down, I suppose.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening, buddy. Here we go.
Oh, no.
Everybody's been emasculated.
To be fair, Birdie's probably about that big anyway.
Yeah, shrink Birdie a little bit more.
Okay. Sorry.
Wow.
I keep getting phone calls
right into the entrance.
telling me about this tornado I'm about to be destroyed by, so... You reach a point where about 100 feet ahead of you, maybe. Actually, not quite that far, because it's dim light down here. The entire place counts as dim light. Windy, do you have your torch out?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's not it provides dim light, so...
It's just a nice little glow, then.
Yeah.
Once,
I like dim light, because I have sharpshooter.
Yeah, you reach a point where... I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 feet ahead of you. You think you see brief and scurrying movement. And now it's on you guys.
Alright.
I'm gonna be behind Adrex.
We'll just get rid of Snake Man here.
I'll stay right behind Raazu with my bow out.
sure.
Ah,
Tell us when to stop.
I'm going to stop here and say, hey, do we want a light source for this?
Eh.
I think Adrex and Birdie would appreciate that.
Do you strike a torch?
Yeah, I got a tinderbox. Let's do it.
Okay, you bust out your tinderbox with the intention of striking this torch, and no matter how hard you try, it will not light.
Ah,
Well,
Oh, Adrex, that... You know, you called that.
yeah.
Actually, wasn't in my notes until he said it. I'm like, that's a good idea. No, that was in there all along. You don't have to blame him for that. You reach a point where the intersection branch. This is the first branch you've seen. It's just been a straight tunnel until this point, branching off to the left and to the right. And nobody has dark vision in this group, right?
Raazu does.
Raazu does. What's Raazu's? Well, does anybody? What's everybody's what's highest passive perception in the group? Keeping in mind it's at -5 except for Raazu.
11.
I've got a 14.
Okay. So you come up on this intersection and it turns left and right.
I guess we'll go left.
Wait, left and right? Where's the left?
Off to the left down here.
Let's go left.
Always go left.
Look about here.
You take the tunnel forward a little bit to where it opens up into the first kind of room that you've seen. So this also opens up to the left over here, and it opens up to the right over here as well. Inside of this little intersection, though, where it widens up a bit, you see several... at first you think they're pebbles or stones, but on further inspection you realize they're the tips of skeletal hands just partially poking up out of the snow here.
I suddenly have a very bad feeling.
I'll go ahead and draw those out if you want.
That seems a little try-hard.
Here, I gotta...
Yeah, white on the white background isn't too super keen.
In fact, Rossi, you're pretty sure this one right in front of you is a paw, not a hand.
How about we go the other way?
This sucks.
Well, if you lot think so, then fine.
I'm just curious what it's reaching for.
They don't look like they're reaching for anything. It just looks like they were... like something had died and rotted away in the snow, and this is just the remains of it. But it's just hands laying there, poking out. Probably buried down to the wrist or so.
Poke them.
Yeah, I'm gonna poke one.
Poke one, and nothing happens.
But you said this one looks like a paw. How about the other two that I'm near?
They look like hands. You can't tell from what kind of humanoid without, like, extreme medicine, but...
How deep is the snow?
You're hoping it's extremely deep and well-packed because the entire tunnel you've been walking on has been densely packed snow. You're not sure what kind of material is underneath that snow layer, and so far, nobody has dug down to try to find out.
In this one?
I mean, I have a shovel.
You start digging?
No. Not
If you're
yet.
gonna dig up anything, dig up one of these boys.
This one's just that, yeah, these three here are just hands, and this one up here is a paw. You can't really tell what kind of creature it might have belonged to.
I'll dig up the paw.
You're digging
my
up the
shovel.
paw?
Yeah.
Okay. The chamber starts kind of shaking for a second as you're digging around this paw, as you're making holes in the snow, and you see some areas of the snow around you become more sunken, like a sinkhole is opened up underneath them. As you manage
your weapon.
As you manage to dig around with this paw and pull it up out of the earth, and it's just a detached forearm of some kind of creature, maybe a large dog.
We'll put it in my
See,
pack.
that's not accidental. That's just try-hard.
But there are weird divots and pockmarks in the floor now.
Let's avoid those.
Yeah.
I guess let's
Go down
go
this way.
this way. Yeah.
Looking in through here, you have solid walls of this place, which are like icy walls. The semi-translucence that I described before. But some areas are crumbled away. In fact, the sound of wind as you look into this chamber is extremely loud, because there are great tears in the floor here where you see the snow has just fallen away. You see where it's packed very, very deep, 20 or 30 feet deep. But through these large gashes in the floor, wind is just tearing up from the abyss below. Let's roll some initiative. Why not?
Sure.
What?
Don't what me.
Initiative.
I'm gonna what you right back.
While we were on a peacekeeping mission.
Grab the die right out of my damn hand.
I'm really sorry, McDohl.
Me and Birdie like the high numbers.
I'm kind of upset you beat me.
Get owned.
Let's take red off the list here.
No! If we leave Red on the list, then Destil gets to take a turn.
Yeah, but we'll be waiting here a long time for him to show up.
Oh, he's just muted.
What, if anything, do you guys know about gnolls?
Oh,
Me
I mean, Birdie,
or the character?
Birdie can tell
Your
you
character.
lots about gnolls. He's an expert, just like he is on gnomes.
They both start with GN.
They're brutish and kind of crazy.
So you've got a big gash in the floor here, and another large one here. And then this whole part of this wall is just fallen away and is just open to the side of the structure. You guys could jump out it if you want.
Nah.
In this room, you see 3 features which those of you who have encountered gnolls before immediately recognize as undead remains of gnolls. They have still strips of flesh lashed off their body. The good news is the smell of putrid rot isn't really permeating the room because the winds are so strong. But each one is carrying a spiked club, and as you enter the room, they stop what they're doing. It looks like they were scratching at the snow. You can see marks in the floor where they've dug little holes or scratched slashes through the snow and the ice. But now, you seem to have their undivided attention. And I forgot to roll initiative because I was...
You were describing things.
Yeah, I was...
What kind of armor are they wearing?
Nothing that would offer them any particular protection.
Okay.
I mean, you see like the rent scraps of clothing and armor hanging on their old
Sure.
bones.
Sorry, it's just AC has suddenly become very relevant now that I have sharpshooter.
Windy, you're up first.
Alright, I'm gonna shoot off an arrow at this one right here.
Okay. I'm going to provide everybody in this room... you can ignore partial cover, but I am giving everybody partial cover because of the wind.
Okay. That's a 11 to hit.
11 does not hit.
Alright, then I'm going to... Ah, screw it, I can't roll 2 4s, right? Let's sharpshooter this one. Ah! That's an 8.
An 8?
8's not gonna do it.
I mean, you fire off these arrows, but they sail wide and get carried off by the wind, and you do not see them again.
Alright, I'm going to get in front of this one and key point dodge.
Key point dodge right there, 5 feet away from just fall into the abyss.
That's why I dodged. I dodged the wind.
It's going to bring us to Birdie.
I'm going to shoot this one,
Okay, it does have partial cover because of the wind.
and that's like just a
That's
plus
a bonus
2.
to AC.
Yeah, it's a bonus
Yeah.
to his AC, yes.
All right.
I can confirm they don't have an AC of zombie.
So that is 10 plus 17.
17 will hit.
Okay, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 15 plus 4, so 19 damage.
19 damage, and you blow this poor guy off his feet. His bones just clatter to the ground, and his club lands in the snow with a soft thump right at Windy's feet. Moving or staying
Nice
put?
work.
I'm going to move here.
Okay. It's going to bring us to Raazu.
30 feet gets me there, and I'm going to dodge.
Dodge, that's it?
Yep.
Oh, very well.
Nice, easy, quick, and simple.
And with a ferociousness and hunger, both of these gnolls step up on you. Let's resolve Windy first.
All right.
Windy, I've got an 8,
Nah.
and I've got a 10.
No.
Raazu.
Before that, oh, go ahead. Let's go ahead and resolve that. But I am going to be taking advantage of Sentinel again that attacked.
Well, no, go ahead and do that now. That triggers as soon as somebody attacks an ally within 5 feet of you.
Yep. Does a 15 hit?
It does.
Hooray! Pleased to enjoy. That's only 4 damage.
Only 4 damage? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And
fine.
You were gonna take a swipe at me?
2 swipes, actually. The first one,
Okay.
it's an automatic miss.
Mm-hmm.
Second attack, I have a 12.
Not quite.
And like most dead things you've encountered, I mean, these creatures, they just don't seem to have much coordination. The wind and the proximity to this just death hole in the floor is providing a little trepidation, but the monsters themselves do not seem to be able to land a blow. That's going to bring us to Adrex.
Hello.
Ice breath?
Yep.
Okay.
Just spew, spew, spew. And let's. Oh, the axe is heavy. I'm gonna hurl an axe at this guy.
Okay. They're going to have partial cover. Because
Partial
of the
cover.
wind.
This is a wall behind it, right? So at least.
Yeah, it's not going to go sailing off into the abyss.
Yeah.
It just ricochets and sells off to the bliss.
Turn
gonna
of
miss
Killian.
Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Once forever.
You just throw an axe and it lands on the ground behind the monster. It's going to bring us to Windy.
Alright, I'm gonna pull out my longsword and take a nice two-handed swing at this boy.
You mean the orc captain's longsword.
Well, it's mine now. The right
Possession
of
is-
conquest. We've been over this.
Possession is 9/10 of the law. And as we all know, the law can be confusing and scary.
Come on now. That's a 9.
9 does not hit.
Alright, I'm
Might
gonna
be a buster.
try. I'm gonna try it again.
Okay.
Backswing.
Backhand. Wow.
It's basically the same number. That's a 19.
19 will hit.
Alright, 4.
That's why I don't like rolling on top of these black spaces.
I don't mind it. That's an 8 damage.
8 damage. It's just, again, this thing clatters into a pile of bones at your feet. And he moves no more. Raazu,
Hey,
I have a reaction I'm using against you.
okay.
How about a 14?
Not gonna do it.
As soon as you hear the thing next to you, as soon as you hear Windy bring it down, the one in front of you makes a very sudden lash out with its club. But you manage to blow it aside with your weapon. And now it is Birdie's turn.
Going to shoot. So that's I get advantage pack tactics. And that is 6. 13.
13 will not hit.
Yeah. Okay.
Shot
That-
goes wide, and you lose that arrow forever. I hope it was one of your favorites.
That's mean.
Moving
Why'd
or
you
staying
do that?
put?
Staying put.
I thought you were going to just jump into the hole and die of shame. That's going to bring us to Rasu's turn.
All right, let's halberd this gentleman.
Is he really a
Not really a
gentleman?
gentleman. Not really. I
He's a-
regret my choice.
Not
The
only is
first
he a
one's not gonna
gnoll,
hit.
he's a dead gnoll.
First one I rolled a 1, so that's not going to work. How about extra attack? Let's see if that does the thing. 19 to hit.
19 will hit.
Yeah.
We're rolling like crap against these zombies.
We really are. That's 11 damage to the other zombie gnoll.
Okay, and you crumple him to the ground, and most of his bones and his club fall into the abyss, unrecoverable. Then after the weight of your mighty blow, you're left with just the sound of the wind in this area of the structure.
Well, I'm curious why they were in here, so I'm gonna go investigate.
Yeah, let's investigate.
Go pick my axe back up.
Okay.
Birdie's gonna like take all the Knoll's bones that didn't fall down and throw them over the edge.
You spend a minute just kicking them all down.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is this? What is this area?
As you come into this area, at first you think there's just an abnormally large pile of snow that's not quite as densely packed as the rest of the area over here. But then you realize what you're looking at is a box that's partially encrusted down into the ice and snow of the floor.
Okay. Raazu takes a deep breath through her nose, then takes a javelin off of the sling on her back,
Okay.
Yeah?
and does the obvious thing.
I mean,
What's
I
that?
have tools.
I'm gonna throw it at the box,
And
Oh.
your javelin thunks as it hits the box.
but it doesn't turn into a mimic and try to eat us.
Not yet. Okay, so I actually have to take a break right now.
Alright.
I have to actually take my break at a particular time today so I can get my dinner in the slow cooker as indicated to me by my lady wife. So let's go ahead and take our break here. When we come back, we'll play around with this obvious mimic. Let's reconvene at about 4:50.